We've been talking so much about credit card companies and payment processors forcing censorship onto our entertainment, and unfortunately, platforms like Steam and like Itch.io have been hit extremely hard. And while I think their responses could have initially been a lot more solid and offered a lot more clarification for creators and also consumers, they are now trying to stand against these processors in some way, even if it is small, because now we know that Itch.io is bringing back all free adult NSFW content. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I don't think that all of the blame needs to be on Steam or Itch.io, right? If Valve couldn't stand against them, I can't expect a platform like Itch to be able to, though I think that all of their initial statements and responses could have offered more information. I think they could have clarified and given developers more details because in some cases, people's livelihoods were ripped away from them at the drop of a dime. Now, I get that they might have also been blindsided by this, but as we have seen happening on the internet over the past couple of days, there is a worldwide concerted effort to censor entertainment and individuals and just the internet in general. But now Itch is trying to take a stand in at least a small way because we know that free NSFW adult content is actually returning to Itch. So it says in a note to developers, Itch.io's founder has confirmed that free adult content will be re-indexed on the platform alongside a new content warning system. It follows the wholesale de-indexing of adult content on the indie game marketplace due to pressure applied by an anti-pornography lobby group on major credit card processors. I don't necessarily agree with this anymore. I do think that Collective Shout put some pressure onto these payment processors, and I do think that that was a factor in a bigger picture, right? I think that these payment processors were going to go on this campaign against entertainment anyway, just seeing everything that's been happening across the internet over the past couple of weeks with, of course, the Online Safety Act in the UK, with platforms like Spotify requiring IDs in certain cases, YouTube requiring IDs in certain cases, even Microsoft has said that they are going to start implementing different systems across, all of their products, from what we understand. We're not just talking about sex simulator games being targeted right now. There's a lot that's been happening. So I don't think that it was just because of the pressure applied by Collective Shout. One of the reasons, though. Yeah, since Itch.io is much smaller than Steam and is a user-generated content platform where material can be published with minimal barriers, Itch.io was forced to take a sledgehammer approach to content removal after it came under the scrutiny of its payment processors. Re-indexing free material, which doesn't require payment processing, is the first step towards addressing a problem that was impossible for the platform to immediately fix without any nuisance. I had said this when we found out that this was happening. Why is it that they did not still leave up the free content? Because they didn't have to process any payments for it. I had said that days and days ago. I'm glad we're actually seeing this happening, though. There are still a lot of questions and a lot of concerns. Announcing the re-indexing, the platform owner adds that we're still in ongoing discussions with payment processors and will be reintroducing paid content slowly to ensure we can confidently support the widest range of creators in the long term. As Harvey Randall reported earlier this week, Itch is currently reaching out to alternative payment processors more willing to work with adult material. Over the past couple of years, Visa and MasterCard have been especially bad when it comes to adult content, so I can't really say I'm shocked to see this is happening. But also, if I had a platform this large, right, I would have been looking for alternatives years and years ago. One of Itch's major payment processors isn't happy about the situation either. In a statement provided to Cochrane, a spokesperson for Stripe wrote that it's currently unable to support sexually explicit content due to restrictions placed on them by their banking partners, despite card networks generally supporting adult content with the appropriate registrations. And as I have said, every single time I've discussed this, sex is not illegal. Sex simulator games should not be censored or banned. Sometimes adult content is only meant for adults, but that doesn't mean that it should be hidden from everybody. Stripe has indicated that they hope to be able to support adult content in the future, and I hope that this happens as well. Though right now, we do still have a lot of questions, like primarily what is going to happen to the developers who did make money off of their experiences. Maybe what some of them will do is decide to just slash the price and have it be free and then put it back on the platform. And then maybe they're hoping that individuals will see their work and support them by downloading the game, but also maybe going to external sites such as websites or X accounts and then monetarily support them there. But if you are a developer who has charged for your game in the past and you do not want to offer it for free right now, you are still going to have to wait in this, what I would assume is a very long queue, where the Itch.io employees are going through and determining whether or not this content can be sold again on their platform. We still don't have an answer as to how long this is going to take and what the process really is looking like behind the scenes, but the transparency is still appreciated, because initially I had said it was terrible that they didn't give anybody any sort of notice. Now, I understand that they might have just been slapped with this one day and they basically shot first and asked questions later. I still don't think that that was a very professional move to make, but I understand that they could have been seriously threatened, like, by the end of the day, if you don't remove this, we're going to have to rip away these options from you. We don't know the context there. But in this case, I am glad that we are getting at least some transparency. It's still not perfect, as it's only free content, so developers who were making money off of their creations are still affected, but it's at least a step forward, and I think that we do need to take every win we can get. At this point, a lot of people generally agree, yup, a step in the right direction is still momentum to build on. I spent a few million tokens mapping out the power structures, ores, and money behind all this crap, hundreds of pages of reports, distilled analysis, nice friendly Twitter threads with good pictures. It's all free in Google Docs that are linked right there. Please read and share the below linked post. And they talk about how there are hundreds and hundreds of pages of receipts to prove that, of course, this really isn't about your safety, and it's never been about people's safety. It's been about power and control. Agreed. Hopefully these sites will seriously consider crypto. It cuts out companies like Visa and MasterCard and is a very good safeguard against censorship. And over on their initial post, a lot of people are saying, I'm still skeptical, but this is at least some kind of good move. For everybody reading this, before you jump to easy outrage, remember that even Valve, notorious for dragging legal fights anytime anyone tries to tell them what to do, even if they're in the wrong, had to instantly fold against Visa, etc. Itch never had a chance. You guys are great. Thank you for doing what you do. That's great to hear. And it isn't still a full win, but I do think that we need to give them some kind of credit, that at least they are trying to come up with a solution so there is more content that is available again on their platform. And right now, we don't know how many games have been banned from Itch. We don't even really know what their list is on how they determine if a game is allowed or is not allowed. So I would love to get that clarification from them. I would love it if they actually came out and made a statement on it. But I think right now they're basically just trying to cover their asses as much as possible. And I don't think we're going to get a clear answer from them. But of course, I will keep my eyes on this situation, and I will continue to cover it because it is just so important that we fight back against this bullshit happening with payment processors and all of the control that we are seeing be forced upon our entertainment. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this and found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.